Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today we're diving into something that I think a lot of counselors find challenging,
Yeah.
especially those working with students,
Hmm.
self-care.
Absolutely.
And we had an interesting blog post sent in
Mm.
called The Importance of Student Self-Care in the Counseling Room
Okay.
from a multicultural counseling service. And get
Wow.
this, it was posted in June
Oh,
2020
wow.
at the height of COVID.
Yeah.
So
Adds another layer to it.
I think it adds another layer of relevance to it, wouldn't you
For
say?
sure. For sure.
Um, But what really struck me was how the author connects the counselor's well-being
Yeah.
to how effective they can be in sessions.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not just about feeling okay.
Hmm.
It's about being truly present and engaged for your clients.
Yeah. It's fascinating how this post kind of tackles a topic that I think a lot of us maybe struggle with,
Yeah.
and really dives into how much our internal state can impact our ability to provide effective therapy.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit.
Sure.
What are some of the key insights that we can pull from this?
Well, they start with this really great analogy that kind of sets the tone, and, it's easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Bessie head.
I like that.
So it's really illustrating how a counselor's internal state can directly impact their effectiveness during therapy.
Mm.
So just imagine, you're trying to help somebody navigate through a storm
Yeah.
and your boat's rocking.
Yeah.
You're not going to be very effective at helping them.
Right. So if a counselor is feeling emotionally drained or just off,
Yeah.
that can really hinder their ability to focus and potentially even lead to some missteps during a session.
Absolutely. And, I always say to students, it's like you're trying to teach somebody to swim and you're barely staying afloat yourself.
Yeah.
We need to be in a place of relative calm and clarity to provide the best support for our clients.
Right. And that also speaks to the importance of empathy and unconditional positive regard, which are so crucial for building a strong therapeutic alliance.
Absolutely. UPR is all about offering acceptance and understanding regardless of, our clients' behaviors or choices.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're grappling with our own emotional turmoil, it becomes incredibly difficult to offer that level of acceptance and presence consistently.
Right.
Our internal struggles can actually create a barrier hindering our ability to connect with clients on a deeper level.
It makes a lot of sense. And the post also emphasizes practical strategies like
Nice.
taking breaks between sessions,
Nice. Cool.
deep breaths, stretching, even meditation.
Yes.
And, these might seem simple enough, but do they really make that much of a difference?
I think the science behind it is pretty compelling.
Okay.
For example, deep diaphragmatic breathing
Mm-hmm.
triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, which acts as a counterbalance to the stress response.
Okay.
So this shift helps you regain focus and access a calmer emotional state,
Mm.
which is crucial for effective therapy.
Yeah, it's like hitting the reset button for your nervous system,
Mhm.
allowing you to approach each session with renewed clarity and energy.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And, think about how you feel after you take a short break or a walk outside.
Yeah.
You probably come back feeling more refreshed, more alert.
Right.
So
Yeah.
imagine bringing that same energy and presence to each client interaction.
It can make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
I love how this post doesn't just highlight the problem.
Yeah.
It provides some actionable steps
Mhm.
we can take to improve our well-being and, in turn, our effectiveness as therapists.
For sure.
And it also recommends 5 books
Okay.
that I think are really relevant to this conversation.
Yeah.
So we have The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron,
Oh.
Know Your Mind by Daniel Freeman,
Mm.
Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman,
Okay.
and The Making of a Therapist by Louis Cozzolino.
Those are all excellent choices.
And
Yeah.
each book offers a unique perspective on self-care and personal growth,
Yeah.
which are both essential for counselors. So let's start with The Artist's Way.
Okay.
Why would a book about creativity be relevant to counselor self-care?
Well, it might seem unexpected, but this book really encourages us to nurture our creativity and self-expression.
Okay.
And even if you don't consider yourself an artist, engaging in creative pursuits can really replenish your energy and inspiration, making you better equipped to support others.
Yeah.
It's about tapping into a different part of yourself, which can be incredibly renewing.
So whether it's painting or writing or even gardening, these activities can help us reconnect with ourselves and in turn be more present for our clients.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about finding those activities that light you up
Yeah.
and allow you to express yourself authentically.
Yeah.
And that replenishes your energy, which then flows outward into your work with clients.
I like that.
Yeah.
What about Know Your Mind?
Okay.
What are the key takeaways for counselors from that book?
Well, this book focuses on understanding common emotional and psychological challenges.
Yeah.
And it encourages self-awareness and provides valuable insights into the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is really beneficial on two levels.
Okay.
It helps you understand yourself better,
Right.
but it also allows you to better relate to and understand your client's experiences.
So it's about expanding our emotional literacy, both for our own growth and to better understand the complexities of the human experience.
Exactly. And that brings us to emotional intelligence.
This is one I've heard so much about.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to hear your take on its relevance for counselors.
Well, this one delves into the power of recognizing and managing emotions,
Okay.
both our own and those of others.
Mm-hmm.
And for counselors, this is paramount.
Yeah.
The book provides tools for developing emotional self-awareness,
Mm-hmm.
empathy, and healthy communication.
Right.
And, if we can't manage our own emotions effectively, how can we guide our clients through theirs?
Right.
It all starts with understanding ourselves.
It seems like this book really emphasizes the interconnectedness between self-understanding and understanding others.
Absolutely.
It's about building a bridge between those two realms.
You hit the nail on the head.
And finally, we have The Making of a Therapist,
Yes.
which takes a more introspective approach.
Mm-hmm.
What makes this book stand out in the context of counselor self-care?
Well, this book encourages us to embark on a journey of self-discovery,
Okay.
exploring our own motivations, biases, and experiences. And it emphasizes the importance of our own inner work for effective therapeutic practice.
Yeah.
It reminds us that we, too, are works in progress.
Right.
And our own growth and self-awareness are integral to our ability to help others.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that self-care isn't just about external practices,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also about tending to our inner world, our own ongoing growth and development as therapists.
Right.
It's not a destination, it's a journey.
You've captured it.
And, the post also offers some practical advice for managing the daily realities of counseling, which we know can be challenging.
Oh, for sure.
And, as we dive into that, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on a point that really stood out to me.
Okay.
The blog's emphasis on thinking before you speak. It seems like such a basic concept.
Right.
But I can see how it's especially crucial in the context of therapy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great observation. And the post highlights the importance of mindful communication in therapy, particularly when we're dealing with sensitive topics.
Right.
When we're rushed or stressed, it's easy to slip into autopilot and say things that might be misconstrued or even cause unintentional harm.
I can imagine scenarios where, feeling pressed for time, we might unintentionally phrase something in a way that a client could misinterpret.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For example, a counselor who's feeling rushed might unintentionally say something that minimizes a client's experience. Like, you'll get over it, or it could be worse.
Right. And even if those statements weren't intended to be dismissive,
Right.
they could be hurtful to the client, especially when they're in a very vulnerable state. Sharing something deeply personal.
For sure. And it really underscores how self-care and ethical practice are deeply intertwined.
Yeah.
When we're feeling grounded and clear-headed, we're better equipped to choose our words thoughtfully and ensure our clients feel safe and understood.
Yeah.
Self-care becomes an ethical imperative, essential for providing the highest quality of care.
This episode is already packed with insights, and I'm eager to delve deeper into the practical side of self-care.
Yes.
What do you say we continue this conversation in the next part of our deep dive?
I'm all for it.
Awesome. We'll be right back.
Okay. It's interesting, thinking about thinking before we speak, it really highlights how self-care and ethical practice are so connected.
Yeah.
When we prioritize our well-being, we're better able to show up ethically for our clients. It's not a separate concept. It's really woven into the fabric of our work.
It's a powerful reminder, it's not selfish to prioritize our needs. It's actually essential for providing the best possible care for our clients.
Absolutely.
And the blog post dives into some practical advice for managing the day-to-day realities of counseling.
Yes.
Which, as you know, can often feel overwhelming.
Absolutely. And it starts with recognizing that, we're not superhuman.
Right.
The post specifically advises against taking on more clients than we can manage. It also cautions against back-to-back group and individual sessions.
Right.
Have you ever experienced that feeling of being completely drained after a day of back-to-back sessions?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
It can feel like you're running a marathon and then immediately having to solve a complex equation.
right. It's like that messy head analogy coming back to haunt us.
Yeah.
When our schedules are chaotic, our internal state often mirrors that chaos.
Mm-hmm.
The post really underscores the importance of setting realistic boundaries and managing our workload.
Right.
It's about recognizing that saying no to one person might allow us to show up more fully for the clients we already have.
Right.
It's about choosing quality over quantity.
Right. I appreciate how the post frames this as an act of self-respect
Yes.
and ultimately as a way to provide better care for our clients.
Absolutely.
It's not about deprivation.
Right.
It's about sustainability.
Yes.
It also mentions minimizing distractions,
Yeah.
which seems particularly relevant in today's, hyper-connected world.
Distractions can be so insidious. They
Mhm.
just chip away at our focus and presence.
Yeah.
The post mentions the noise of traffic, but I think this applies to any type of distraction.
Right.
Ringing phones, emails
Mhm.
popping up on our computers, colleagues stopping by our office.
Yeah.
It's about creating a haven of focus, both for ourselves and for our clients.
So what are some practical strategies for managing those external factors and creating that haven of focus you mentioned?
I think it starts with awareness.
Okay.
Notice what pulls you out of the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the constant ping of your phone?
Yeah.
The clutter on your desk?
Yeah.
Once you identify those distractions, you can start implementing strategies to minimize them.
Are there specific things that you do in your own practice to create a calm and focused environment?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I found that simple things like closing my office door,
Oh, okay.
using noise-canceling headphones during sessions,
Mm-hmm.
and even strategically placing my desk to face away from high-traffic areas
Mm-hmm.
have made a significant difference.
Those are great tips. I'm also thinking about the power of ritual.
Yes.
Maybe lighting a candle before a session,
Right.
taking a few deep breaths to center yourself,
Mm-hmm.
or having a calming piece of music playing softly in the background.
Yes.
These small rituals can really help create a sense of intention and presence.
Those are excellent additions.
Mhm.
It's about finding what works for you
Yeah.
and creating a space that feels both grounding and supportive.
Mhm.
It's like setting the stage for a successful therapeutic journey, both for you and for your clients.
It reminds me of something we discussed earlier about the importance of breaks between sessions. It's not just about the physical break.
Mhm.
It's about how we use that time.
Your Scott on the Post suggests using those breaks for things like, deep breath stretching or even meditation.
Right.
These aren't just random activities.
Right.
They're practices that help us shift out of doing mode and into a more mindful, present state.
Yeah.
It's like hitting a mini reset button for our mind and body.
It's like clearing the cache of our emotional and mental RAM,
Yes.
allowing us to approach each new client interaction with fresh perspective and energy.
I love that analogy. And I think this ties into another crucial aspect of counselors' self-care that the Post highlights,
Okay.
the power of active listening.
How does self-care enhance our active listening skills?
Well, when we're feeling grounded and centered,
Mm-hmm.
we're more likely to be fully present with our clients.
Right.
To listen not just to their words, but also to their tone of voice,
Mm-hmm.
their body language,
Right.
even the silences between their words.
Yeah.
We're more attuned to the nuances of their experience.
Yeah. It's about listening with our whole being, not just with our ears.
Yes.
And that requires a certain level of inner stillness and presence
Mhm.
that can be difficult to access if we're feeling depleted or overwhelmed.
Exactly. Self-care allows us to create that mental and emotional space to truly listen deeply
Right.
and empathize with our clients without getting caught up in our own internal chatter.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to put our own needs aside
Mm-hmm.
and focus on the person sitting across from us.
This brings us back to the idea that self-care is not selfish.
Right.
It's actually an act of service.
Yes.
It's about nurturing ourselves so we can better nurture others.
Absolutely.
It's about recognizing that our well-being is interconnected with the well-being of our clients.
That's beautifully said. And, as we've been diving into this blog post and exploring, the multifaceted nature of counselor self-care,
Yeah.
I keep coming back to a key theme that I think often gets overlooked.
Okay. I'm all ears. What's that?
It's the idea that counselor self-care is not just about individual well-being.
Oh.
It's also about social justice.
Wow. That's a powerful connection.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I see the link just yet. I'm intrigued by this connection you've made between self-care and social justice.
Yeah.
Can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit more for me?
Yeah, if you think about it, when counselors prioritize their own mental health and well-being,
Mm-hmm.
they're better equipped to serve marginalized communities
Right.
who often face significant barriers to accessing quality care.
So you're saying that by taking care of ourselves, we're actually contributing to a more equitable and just society.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Burnout and compassion fatigue are very real issues in our profession,
Yeah.
and they disproportionately impact those who work with underserved populations.
Right.
And these are the very populations who often have more complex needs and face greater challenges in accessing support.
So when we neglect our own self-care,
hmm
it can actually perpetuate inequities within the mental health system.
That's a powerful insight.
Yeah.
And it really underscores, I think, the responsibility that we have as counselors
Hmm.
to advocate not only for our own well-being,
Right.
but also for systemic change within the profession.
It's not enough to simply focus on individual self-care strategies.
Right.
We also need to address the root causes of burnout and compassion fatigue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to advocate for things like fair compensation,
Mm-hmm.
manageable caseloads, and supportive work environments. These are all essential for creating a sustainable and equitable mental health system.
What are some ways that we as counselors can contribute to this systemic change?
I think it starts with recognizing that our voices matter.
Oh, yeah.
We can speak up at staff meetings.
Mm-hmm.
We can join professional organizations that advocate for counselor well-being.
Yeah.
And even just having open conversations with colleagues about the challenges that we face,
Right.
every voice makes a difference.
I love that it's about recognizing that we're not alone in this. We're
Mm.
part of a larger community. And by working together, we can create a profession that values and supports the well-being of both counselors and clients.
That's the heart of it. Counselor self-care isn't just about bubble baths and meditation retreats,
Yeah.
although those can be lovely.
Right.
It's about creating a culture of care within our profession.
Yeah.
It's about advocating for systemic change that supports the well-being of all counselors,
Mm-hmm.
enabling us to show up fully and ethically for our clients and for the communities that we serve.
This has been such an insightful conversation.
Yes, it has.
I feel like I have a whole new perspective on self-care,
Good.
not just as a personal practice, but as a social responsibility, as an act of justice.
That's wonderful to hear.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into counselor self-care.
It's been a pleasure.
To all the counselors out there listening, thank you for the incredible work that you do.
Yes, thank you.
Remember, you are not alone.
You're not alone.
Taking care of yourself is an act of courage and a gift to your clients and to the world. Until next time, take care.